Have you ever met that one student who always seems to know what's going on? Not the one who studies 12 hours a day. Not the one with perfect grades. I mean the student who understands things faster, remembers more, asks better questions, and somehow always stays one step ahead. Here's the scary part. Most of them aren't smarter than you. They just learned a few rules that nobody teaches in school. And if you stay with me for the next 6 minutes, I'll give you those rules. Because becoming a dangerously smart student has almost nothing to do with IQ and almost everything to do with how you learn. When I was younger, I thought smart students were born different. I assumed they had better brains, better memory, better focus, something I didn't have. So whenever I struggled with a difficult subject, I had a simple explanation. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. But then I noticed something strange. Some students could spend hours studying and still forget everything after the exam, while others could study less and understand more. That didn't make sense until I realized that school teaches subjects, but it rarely teaches learning itself. And once you learn how learning actually works, everything changes. So here are the 5 rules that can turn an average student into a dangerously smart one. Rule number 1, stop collecting information. Start connecting it. Most students learn like collectors. They collect notes, collect slides, collect screenshots, collect PDFs, collect highlighted textbooks. And somehow they believe having information means understanding it. It doesn't. Understanding happens when you connect new information to something you already know. Think about it. Why do you remember random stories from years ago, but forget something you studied last week? Because stories are connected. Facts are often isolated. Dangerously smart students constantly ask, what does this remind me of? And how does this connect to something I already understand? The moment you start building connections instead of stacking information, your brain becomes far more powerful. Learning stops feeling like memorization and starts feeling like understanding. And understanding lasts much longer. Rule number 2, never read passively. This single habit separates top students from average students. Most people read a chapter and think they're learning. They're not. They're just looking at words. You can read the same page 3 times and still remember almost nothing. Why? Because your brain learns through retrieval, not exposure. In simple terms, reading feels productive, remembering is productive. Dangerously smart students constantly test themselves. After reading one page, they close the book and ask, what did I just learn? Can I explain it without looking? Can I teach it to someone else? If you can't explain it, you probably don't understand it yet. And that's completely normal. The goal isn't to get it right immediately. The goal is to force your brain to retrieve information. That's what creates strong memory. Rule number 3, learn like you're going to teach. Imagine you had to teach tomorrow's lesson to your entire class. How would you study? You'd probably pay more attention. You'd simplify ideas. You'd look for gaps in your understanding. And that's exactly why this works. Teaching exposes confusion. Reading hides it. Whenever you finish learning something, pretend you're explaining it to a younger student. No fancy terms. No textbook language. Just simple explanations. If you can make a complicated topic sound simple, you've reached a much deeper level of understanding. This is one of the fastest ways to become noticeably smarter. Not because you're learning more, but because you're learning better. Rule number 4, protect your attention like it's gold. Here's something most students never realize. Your attention is your biggest academic advantage. Not intelligence, not talent, not motivation. Attention. The problem is that we're living in a world designed to destroy it. Notifications, short videos, messages, constant distractions. Every interruption trains your brain to switch focus. And a distracted brain struggles to think deeply. Dangerously smart students aren't necessarily more disciplined. They simply create environments where focus becomes easier. They put the phone away. They remove distractions. They create periods of uninterrupted thinking. Because real understanding doesn't happen in scattered moments. It happens when your mind stays on one problem long enough to figure it out. Rule number 5, become curious about everything. This might be the most important rule of all. The smartest students aren't obsessed with grades. They're obsessed with understanding. They ask questions. A lot of questions. Why does this work? Why does this happen? What causes this? What would happen if it were different? Curiosity turns learning from a chore into an adventure. And once you're genuinely curious, studying becomes much easier. Because you're no longer forcing information into your brain. You're pulling it in. And people who stay curious for years eventually become incredibly knowledgeable. Not because they're gifted, but because they never stop learning. Now here's the truth nobody tells students. Becoming dangerously smart doesn't happen overnight. There's no secret hack, no magic technique, no productivity app that's going to transform your life tomorrow. But if you consistently connect ideas, test yourself, learn by teaching, protect your attention, and stay curious, you'll slowly become the person everyone assumes was naturally smart. And the funny thing is, they'll never see the habits behind it. They'll only see the results. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm not smart enough, remember this. Intelligence isn't just something you have. It's something you build. One thought, one question, one study session at a time. And the students who understand that are the ones who become impossible to ignore. So if you find this video helpful, share it with your friends, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can never miss an update.